Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. If you've been searching for the ultimate, totally stress-free roadmap to gaining your driving independence in the Peace Garden state, you are exactly in the right place. Today we're cutting through the jargon and breaking down the paperwork, the testing, and the rules of the North Dakota driver licensing system into simple, actionable steps.
Just imagine cruising through the stunning, expansive landscapes of North Dakota, finally sitting behind the wheel for the very first time. It sounds absolutely incredible, right? But before you can hit the open road and experience that freedom, we have to navigate a little bit of state bureaucracy. Don't worry though, while the paperwork and testing might seem kinda daunting at first glance, the process is actually super logical once you see it laid out. By the end of our time together today, you're going to be fully transformed from a complete beginner into a confident applicant who's completely ready to ace the process. Okay, let's dive into this. Our roadmap for today covers 1. Welcome to the road. 2. Eligibility and required documents. 3. Studying and test prep. 4. Scheduling and test day. 5. Next steps and rules. And finally, 6. Crucial tips and conclusion. All right, kicking things off with Section 2, Eligibility and required documents.
Let's tackle that first big hurdle, figuring out if you're actually eligible and gathering the necessary paperwork to prove it. This is where a lot of folks trip up before they even take a test, so paying close attention here is going to save you a ton of headache later. 14. Yes, you heard that right. That is a surprisingly low number, but North Dakota is actually one of the few states in the entire country that allows you to get an instruction permit at just 14 years old. Because of the state's huge rural terrain and heavy agricultural dependency, they use a graduated driver licensing model that permits early entry. The whole point is to make sure young drivers get plenty of supervised practice across all kinds of crazy weather conditions before they ever drive alone.
Now, whether you are 14, 16, or a full adult, you absolutely have to prove exactly who you are first. North Dakota strictly enforces federal Real ID guidelines, which means they have a zero-tolerance policy for photocopies or a quick digital scan on your phone. You've got to bring original or government-certified documents. You need proof of your legal identity, like a certified U.S. birth certificate or a passport. You'll need proof of your social security number, so grab that original social security card or a W-2. And lastly, you need 2 physical proofs of North Dakota residency. Now, if you're a minor and you're thinking, I don't have utility bills in my name, please don't panic. A parent or legal guardian can provide those 2 proofs of residency in their name, as long as they go with you to the office to sign the application and assume financial liability. Moving right along to Section 3, Studying and Test Prep.
Okay, so your paperwork is perfectly organized in a folder, and you are ready for the preparation phase. The North Dakota Non-Commercial Driver's License Manual is about to be your absolute best friend. Literally every single question on the written exam is pulled straight from this manual. The crucial takeaway here is that you aren't just studying generic driving rules, you are studying rules specific to North Dakota's unique environment. You really need to know how to safely pass slow-moving farm machinery on rural 2-lane highways. You have to memorize the specific dates for studded snow tires, which are totally legal from October 15th through April 15th. And definitely pay close attention to construction zones because fines double when workers are present. Focus your study time heavily on these local quirks, right-of-way rules, and road sign identification.
So, what's the magic number? It's 80%. The written knowledge test consists of 25 multiple-choice questions, which means you have to get at least 20 of them right to pass. My biggest piece of advice? Take full advantage of online practice tests to figure out your weak spots long before you ever step foot in a testing center. Next up, Section 4, Scheduling and Test Day.
Once you're consistently acing those practice tests, it's time to talk logistics. The North Dakota Department of Transportation, or NDDOT, operates strictly by appointment only. You cannot just walk in off the street. You've got to schedule your visit online at .nd.gov. And here's a pro tip for you. Pay close attention to their operating hours. While big hubs like Fargo and Bismarck stay open continuously, smaller regional satellite offices actually shut down for lunch hour between noon and 1 p.m., and you must schedule your test at least 1 hour before they close. Now, what's really interesting about this is comparing your testing options. You can take the test in person on a terminal at the DOT office. If you fail, no big deal. You just pay another $5 fee and try again the next business day. But North Dakota also offers the Know to Drive online platform. This lets you take the test right from your home computer. However, be super careful here. It uses strict front-facing webcam monitoring. If the system detects another person in your room, you are instantly disqualified and locked out for 7 days. And get this, if you fail the online test 5 times, you are locked out of the digital platform for an entire year. So definitely treat the at-home test with the exact same seriousness as the in-person one.
If you decide to go the traditional in-office route, here is exactly what your visit is going to look like step by step. First, you'll pay those administrative fees. That's $5 for the test attempt and $15 for the permit itself. Next, you'll take a quick vision screening right at the counter. You just need 20/40 visual acuity and at least one eye to pass without any restrictions. Then, smile for your brand new permit photo. Finally, they'll direct you to a terminal to take your 25-question written test. Just knowing this exact sequence goes a long way in completely eliminating that test day anxiety.
All right, on to Section 5, Next Steps and Rules. Huge congratulations! You passed the test and you finally have that temporary paper permit in hand. This brings us to the most exciting and definitely the most important part of our explainer. What happens next, and what are the actual rules for a permit holder? Okay, the absolute non-negotiable #1 rule of an instruction permit is that you can never, ever drive alone. You must always be accompanied by a legal supervising driver. And North Dakota is very specific about who this can be. It has to be a licensed driver who is at least 18 years old with a minimum of 3 years of valid driving experience. And no, they cannot nap in the back seat. They must sit in the front passenger seat right next to you, and they've got to remain alert and sober.
Aside from having your supervisor riding shotgun, there are a few strict rules designed to insulate you from high-risk scenarios while you're learning. First off, put the phone away. There is a total ban on electronic devices. No texting, no calling, and not even hands-free GPS use is allowed for a permit holder. Second, there's a zero-tolerance policy for alcohol. A blood alcohol content of just 0.02% triggers an automatic suspension. You're also limited to the car's manufacturer's seatbelt capacity, meaning absolutely everybody must be buckled up. And uniquely, if you are under 16, the law restricts you to operating only vehicles owned by a direct family member, so think parents, grandparents, or siblings.
Let's map out how all this practice builds into total freedom using the graduated driver licensing timeline for the under 16 crowd. You get your permit at 14. You must hold it for a full 12 continuous months. During that time, you've got to complete a formal driver's ed course and log 50 hours of supervised practice driving, with at least 10 of those hours done at night. Once you hit 15 and you pass your road skills test, you earn a restricted Class D license. This lets you drive alone, but it carries a strict nighttime curfew. Finally, at age 16, that automatically transitions into a standard, unrestricted license. Now, if you're starting this whole process at age 16 or 17, it's a bit faster. The holding period is just 6 months, and those supervised logs aren't legally required, though honestly, they are highly, highly recommended.
Now, I do have to deliver a firm but encouraging warning here. The state calls driving a privilege for a reason. If you break the rules, you are going straight to the penalty box. For minor drivers, accumulating just 6 points on your driving record or committing any drug or alcohol-related offense triggers an automatic cancellation of your permit. And cancellation means your permit is entirely wiped out. You don't just wait out a temporary suspension. You have to start the entire application process, the testing, and the waiting periods all over again from scratch. So please, drive safe and drive smart. Which brings us to our final stop, Section 6, Crucial Tips and Conclusion. We are in the home stretch, folks. Let's wrap up this explainer so you leave feeling fully equipped, super confident, and completely ready to succeed at the NDDOT. Before I send you on your way, I need to highlight an official disclaimer. Check for recent updates or changes in state laws or procedures, as regulations can change over time. While the specific fees, age requirements, and document rules we just went through are based on current official North Dakota Code and DOT policies, bureaucracy is always evolving. It is always a really smart, proactive move to double-check .nd.gov right before you book your appointment, just to ensure no minor fees or required forms have shifted. Getting your learner's permit is just a massive, incredibly exciting milestone. The freedom of those North Dakota roads is quite literally out there waiting for you. But as we've seen today, that freedom is built 100% on the responsibility of being a safe, knowledgeable, and well-prepared driver. You now have the exact roadmap to navigate the documents, master a written test, and safely build your skills behind the wheel. The keys are officially within your reach. So what kind of driver will you choose to be once you finally turn that ignition?